It's time to continue our niche versus designer saga through the seasons. Didn't really intend on this being a continuous series. I started with the fall of last year, then winter, and I figure, why quit now? I just dropped a spring designer video, so naturally I have no choice but to follow it up with a spring niche list. And that's what we're gonna do today. Hey, Dr. Magnifiscent here. Welcome to the Nashville News, y'all. Although my entire collection is relatively niche heavy, I still do have a love for both worlds. But for the most part, it is harder to find unique, bold, off the beaten path type scents in the designer world. Minus the times you rarely discover one, it does feel a little extra special when that occasionally happens, doesn't it? Unfortunately, quite often, if a design house does release an ultra special artistic composition that really stands out, you can pretty much start counting down the days until it's inevitable discontinuation. And then us fragrance geeks pay buku bucks on eBay just to get our mitts on one of those unicorns. I guess it's just a cold hard truth. The majority of the money spending public want things easy, safe, and familiar. And sometimes I like that. But I personally just love perfumery for the art form. Designer, niche, simple, complex. So if you're like me, you really gotta start getting into the niche world, which can be a bit daunting because it is a massive world filled with a lot of things that are quite foreign to the average fragrance consumer. But these 10 buttes I have for you today are a great starting point, not only for spring, but just niche perfumery in general. Because spring is arguably the most diverse season for nearly every genre of fragrance. Not only do all of these I've selected for you fit that shiny, new, fresh, and lively spring environment, but they're all, for the most part, signature scent worthy. So springtime or anytime, you can have a good time every time you wear them all the time. They're just a great jumping off point if it's your time to dip your toes into the niche pool. Let's crank them out, but first, if you are not subscribed, I think it would be in your best interest to do so. You want to smell like $1,000,000? Well, subscribing is free, so big profit margin for you, I think. I mean, come on, do the math. Subscribe, hit that like button, and let's spring right into my top niche spring scents for 2023. Let's get it! The Doctor is now in, and I will rock you. Let's start with an old favorite. It doesn't get more spring suited than Bleecker Street by Bond No. 9. Ow, that hurt my hands clapping. Ow. Ow, owie. It was my rings. Ow. My fingies are all tingly. Like walking through a lush green park in New York City. It just paints that picture. It has to be one of, if not their top seller, so it's a great starting point for exploring the brand itself. Violet leaf, cassis, thyme, oak moss, cedar, and patchouli provide that sharp green, earthy edge which really grabs attention. But then a rarely seen note of blueberry.
It happens every time. They all become blueberries.
Don't worry, this won't cause that.
I got a blueberry for a daughter.
Along with cinnamon and jasmine. A touch of vanilla and caramel to soften the edges ever so slightly, while amber and suede bolster the whole blend with a nice rugged and dense support in the base. Great performance on this sucker. A prime, versatile, signature-worthy scent. Great for work, for play. What else can I say? I guess not much, so let's move on. Seems like so far we're sticking with the green theme, so why don't we go with Greenley by Parfums de Malle. Now, unlike every other Parfums de Malle bottle in my collection, this is the first one I've owned that's completely transparent. It's just a nice clear glass, still in that almost kind of Coke bottle sage green color. Very handsome, also versatile, but one I would argue more suited for warm weather. This is one I can see myself wearing mostly in the late spring, early summer. So I think I'll be wearing it a lot starting now. But then again, it does inherit that legendary PDM performance to cut through any weather. Although not as beastly as other ones from the brand, but for a green apple freshie, it's no slouch. Yes, this is a delicious green apple-based blend. Fresh, vibrant, and fruity with some zingy bergamot and mandarin orange. Only to be nicely balanced with petitgreen, cashmeran, violet, oak moss, amberwood, a sexy musk, and pomerose, which is a synthetically made powerful rose accord with some sweet and fruity facets. It's a really fun fragrance. Lively and, of course, green, perfect for spring, and a fine one to also bust out in the summer if you're feeling it. Okay, enough of the greens already. How about purple? Purple! Accento by Xerjoff has quickly become a new beloved for me. It's nothing too out there, safe, bright, clean, and just lovely, and it really fooled me when it came to performance. After field testing this one in my top Xerjoff's video, I really didn't expect it to last due to its brighter, lighter characteristics. It's sort of a deceiving beast. I wore it the other day to really put it to the true test, and even I wasn't anosmic to the wafts of sillage for the entire day. It just has this nice, freshly washed and pressed linens type trait. Some call it the laundry detergent perfume, but I beg to differ. That would be the fanciest detergent I've ever smelled in my life. I think the powdery iris mixed with the hyacinth, jasmine, and just a touch of pineapple provide that nice, floral, sharp, slightly fruity aspect. Pink pepper peps it up a little bit, aptly. Amber rounds it out. Vanilla adds a slight sweet twist. And I think the vetiver and patchouli give it some grit, ultimately creating another gender-neutral champion of a blend. Oh, and have I mentioned the velvet bottle yet? Come on! Oh yes, so soft. I'm a sucker for a cool bottle. Okay, we did green, we did purple. Now check out this radical color. The melted blue raspberry icy fragrance. Look at that juice. I want to put it under a black light and see if it glows. Everyone at the rave will know what you're wearing when they see it glowing off your neck. This is a great springtime dumb reach. It's Barbershop by Authenticity Perfumes, based out of Norfolk, Virginia. And according to my research, nowhere is this referred to as a fougere, but to me it seems to fit the bill. Fougères are perfect for spring, commonly featuring notes like bergamot, lavender, and oak moss. In fact, if you want to learn more about fougères, check out my fougere video. Although if this is one, it is different from most traditional fougères. It does have bergamot and oak moss, but also sweet basil, fir, patchouli, and cedar. Perhaps the lack of lavender is the disqualifier, bumping it out of the genre. I have no idea. To me, it smells like a nice, fancy, fresh, and minty soap. Like a legit shaving soap. It straight up invigorates you when you splash it on early in the day. I'd say it's right up there with Bleecker Street as an ideal morning commute to work fragrance. Although this one is much cheaper. You put this on when you're going to your job at Wall Street. Put this one on when you're going to your job at Walgreens. Hey, much love to my Walgreens working nostrils out there. Respect. They could totally charge way more than they do, but don't tell them that. It's quickly become one of my go-tos from this brand, especially this time of year. Barbershop style spring zinger. Check. Now we can't forget the florals. Accento is a great example of a spring floral scent with that elegant iris, hyacinth, jasmine combo. But when it comes to rose, the first thing that pops into my mind, a niche perfume that's actually marketed towards women, but in my opinion, one of the most truly androgynous rose niche examples of fragrance perfection. I think my new favorite from Frederic Malle. This is the one and only Portrait of a Lady. Rose is what you get the most of in here, but I believe the combined blend of patchouli, incense, cloves, blackcurrant, sandalwood, musk, and benzoin give it a marvelous masculine edge while retaining its beautiful feminine qualities. And if you're someone watching right now who immediately dismissed this one because of the title, you're missing out. You gotta give this one a shot. To my nose, I'm not sure from what, but it has a nice green herbal zest in the open, which really made it irrefusable to include in this list today. How about that incredibly legendary rose-based floral that you just can't quit? Don't worry though, it's a good habit. It's Habit Rouge Eau de Parfum by Guerlain. Side note, I'll be honest, Guerlain has been called both niche and designer, and I'm not entirely sure how best to categorize them, but they are a classic perfume house, and this is a classic DNA. But it's still contemporary smelling, at least the EDP, and I'm sure it's been reformulated and modernized over the years. Similar to Portrait of a Lady, you get a big dose of rose. Patchouli adds the roughness. It's got a nice sandalwood and Brazilian rosewood backbone. We also have oak moss and leather, supplying that masculine undercurrent while not deviating too far from the feminine captivation we love about it. Mostly thanks to the incredible combo of rose, jasmine, and carnation. Then spicy woods and amber cuts that harshness down. Unlike Portrait of a Lady though, this one goes for fairly cheap, especially on the discounters. When you think of spring scents, the note of leather may not come to mind. But last year I put Memo's African leather in my spring and winter lists just to show off off its versatility. And in this spring list, I'm gonna feature my next favorite from the line, Italian Leather by Memo Paris. This, I believe, is one worth trying. I've heard a lot of mixed reviews on it with its prominent and unusual tomato leaf note. Comments were saying things like, "Ah! It smells like marinara sauce." I mean, it's called Italian Leather. I wouldn't put it past them. Some Memo board meeting. Hey, why don't we make a fragrance that smells like a pizza? Talk about getting someone to crave you, am I right? Well, you're too late, Memo. Demeter Fragrance Library already beat you to it. You see? And admittedly, I'm enticed. I might have to order that right now. I think I have to try it. Okay, and up first we have the Magnifiscent family. Hello, Doctor. Is that your real first name? Yes, it actually is. Thank you, Steve. Okay, first question. Name a vegetable often used in Italian cuisine. Tomato. Survey says... Yes, tomato, you're right. Hey, all right. And then I'd be like, well, you're wrong, Steve, because tomatoes are a fruit. Yeah, let's open up that debate again. Thank you for playing Fragrance Feud. Rest assured, it does not smell like tomatoes, but the tomato leaf does give it a nice vegetal essence. Yes, I know tomatoes are a fruit. I'm just saying it smells vegetal. Get off my ass, will ya? Although it says leather in the title, to my nose, it's much more of an aromatic amber blend with that unmistakable Memo leather accord in the shining supporting role that it occupies so well. And out of all in the Memo leather line that I've tried, besides my trusty African leather, which I will always be head over heels for, yeah, this one held my interest the most of the others I've tried so far. Hey, riddle me this, my nostrils. Thanks to both of these memos, we are fully aware of how leather can work so beautifully in the spring. But what about oud? What about oud?
What about
Oud? Dr. Marvin, don't be mad at me. It's oud. Can we pull off oud in the springtime? I don't think a heavy, dank, or stanky oud blend would really fit the surroundings, but the fresh and zingy oud lemon mint by Mancera makes a grand exception. We all know Mancera delivers greatness at modest prices. I don't know how they do it, but they're famously known for having big bang for little bucks. Oud lemon mint, or Aoud lemon mint, however you want to pronounce it, because it's spelled with an A, but I believe it is still pronounced oud, contains the obvious lemon, mint, and agarwood, again in more of a supporting role. Also mandarin orange, coriander, pepper, patchouli, and Egyptian jasmine. Ooh, spare no expense. That's right, Egyptian jasmine, a floral note so good you'd slap your mummy for it. We've reached a new low. Oh God. And a nice base of vanilla, amber, leather, musk, and vetiver. But since I've been wearing it, I think my favorite component is the almond note. Just adds this slight richness to the whole thing. I find this one with its broad range of notes to be real versatile. And in true Mancera fashion, a beast of a performer. Also, in true Initio fashion, another brand known for beast mode performance. Although I have to admit, this next one from Initio is the least loud one I've discovered. And it may be odd to hear me say this, but I think I like that this one is more intimate. Kind of a deep cut. This is called Mystic Experience by Initio. I have smelled this one before, but I just got it in my collection, and I wanted to unbox it on camera in front of you so I could show you how amazing this packaging is. Initio doesn't mess around when it comes to presentation. Oh yeah, rippity-doo-dah. Whoa. You got your outer sleeve that you just slide right off. Oh, score. And the inner box has a nice rubberized feel to it. You got the fancy design on the front, the Initio logo embossed on the top, and we just pop the top off, and there it is on its nice little pedestal. And the little pedestal that the bottle sits in is a nice cushy velvet. Fuzzy. It's the perfect fragrance from this brand for those who may not be a huge fan of their famous face-melting strength. It may be the only Initio you could get away with wearing to work. The scent itself, though, is really what makes it worth owning. It makes me visualize something like an evergreen forest in the mountains. It's very woody. The sandalwood in this doesn't smell like a creamy sandalwood you would find in most designers. The oak moss provides some green earthiness, but as it dries down, you get amber, musk, and a little coffee, but real subtle. This one may be more on the raw green coffee bean side. It's super smooth, still performs decently, even though it may not project as crazy as some of the other ones from the brand. The sillage on this is fantastic, just like our last pick today. Finally, we'll end this list with one of my must-haves from Royal Crown, and this is one of my springtime regular grabs, Imperator. Fresh and spicy, nice and easy. Love the sleek white bottle. It's gorge. It opens up nice and bright. I used to think it had citrus, but now I think it's mostly sharp cedar wood combined with iris and a light rose as a complementary note. That seems to be what I get the most of throughout the life of the fragrance. We have cardamom, nutmeg, and olive leaf up top, laurels, olibanum, and myrrh, giving it an herbal and resinous quality as the scent progresses. This is another great starting point for this house, I believe, considering the positive feedback I get while wearing it. So far in my experience, this is the most complimented out of all the other ones I own. I waited and waited and waited for a 50 ml bottle to finally pop up on a discounter, and honey, it was worth waiting for. And that'll do it for this edition of our continuous seasonal niche versus designer series. My final editions, Summer Designer and Summer Niche, will be coming soon. So I recommend you subscribe and enable those notifications so you don't miss those. And also, if you want to help this channel to continue to flourish like a lush spring garden, give us a like, share us with your friends, and don't forget to drop a comment, because I'm curious if any of you eccentric nostrils have any favorite niche brands or niche scents you're currently loving this spring. After all, it's, not a fragrance channel. Fooled you! It's a community. And be sure to get your little cottontails back here next time. Until then, stay fresh, stay clean, stay green, and of course, stay smelly. The doctor is out. Thank you for playing Fragrance Feud! Should have got the deluxe model. This is the most I've ever spent on a prop for this channel.